Hey there everyone, it's Scurvy, back again with another episode of Scurvy Shit List. And who's this twink we see on the screen? Why, it's Bellular Gaming, or BellularWarcraft. I think this is around the Shadowlands era. Looks to be that way. But last time that I know anything about you, I don't think you're an author. So why do you have the fucking desk lamp of faggotry right here? Well, it just so happens that I'm a bit of a twink myself, and I like to write, even though I don't really know much about storytelling. But Bellular, you wrote a game here. And besides, I'm part Irish as well. Come on, us potato lovers can at least share some secrets with one another. Well, Scurvy, you sound a little bit drunk there, boy. Yeah, I am. I had quite a bit of rum tonight. How'd you notice? Well, I don't really know. It's Irish intuition. Well, you got a point about that, twink boy. Have you ever deadlifted anything in your life? Doesn't look like it. Those arms are kind of small, so I don't really expect you to curl all that much. Scurvy curls 60s in both arms. What else do we have here? Here we have two cucks in the frame. We have Bellular with balding hair, it seems. You don't need to make fun of my baldness, Scurvy. Oh, please. I make fun of everyone here on Scurvy Shit List. That's also including this bald cuck right here, too. Preach. Hola bolas, everyone! I just had Tyrone finishing my wife. Shut up, Preach. I don't want to hear it right now. I'm trying to hear this potato lover's cringe. Well, wouldn't you know, my wife also likes Tyrone. Perhaps... God damn it. No, I can't do the silly voice anymore. Yep, they probably are both cucks, not gonna lie. Though, what is going on with this hair, my guy? Are you going through male pattern baldness? Last time I've seen one of your thumbnails, it seems like you're using some hair restoration service. It beats me, but the beard does not look good on you, my guy. It really doesn't. And let's see, what else do we have here? We're gonna try and make this quick. Oh! Oh! I see, we have some man titties right here, too. So, not only do you not curl, you do not deadlift, you probably don't squat, although, to be fair, I don't really do many squats either. But you don't bench, my guy! Look at those arms! Holy shit! Scurvy might have a bit of a twink frame, but at least he could lift. Unlike this guy. His arm, he don't have no arms. He should be able to at least get some. I mean, Nixium is mogging him right now, and Nixium has even bigger man titties than Bellular. Holy shit-a-moly. Oh my goodness, why am I speaking Italian when I should be talking more like an Irish person? Well, I could assist you in accent lessons there, Scurvy. Oh, God fucking damn it, Bellular. I don't want to hear it right now. So I first started watching Bellular's content at like 2016, and when I was still getting into World of Warcraft, I saw one of his videos. I think it was about like an expansion leak before Legion was revealed. And I was like, you know what? Good editing. Just a good video all around, even if the expansion might be a fake. But still, like, people... and by people I mean the community at large, were just eagerly waiting for what was going to be shown off next. And Bellular actually did a pretty good job at creating hype, especially when Legion was actually like revealed and was on like the alpha cycle. Like, yeah, I was very much hyped for Legion, and that hype really did pay off. It was a good expansion, one of my favorites. But enough about me talking about Legion. Let's get to the next expansion, Battle for Azeroth. And oh boy, that was not a very good expansion. Though it did turn out to be okay at the very end of it. But Bellular was able to be honest with the Blizzard devs about the direction that the game was going in. And I think most people had a similar sentiment. There's too much RNG, player characters feel weak, and I agree with that sentiment, and it's still kind of relevant whenever I discuss the expansion. But the reason why I liked the BFA stuff from Bellular was that it was able to be reasonable. It didn't sway like either too overly positive about some changes being made, but it also wasn't being too overtly negative about it either. It's like, he congratulated Blizzard when they did a good and criticized them when they did a bad. And that's what made me stick around for the BFA era. He lost me at around the Shadowlands era of his content because y'all know my opinions on Shadowlands. I made a 2-hour combined review of the expansion. It's in 2 parts. It's on my channel. Go watch it if you want my opinion on it. But to sum it up, I fucking love it. Greatest expansion of all time. But Bellular didn't really have the same sentiment. I noticed that he carried a lot of the criticisms that he had of BFA over to an expansion that was nothing like it. There was barely any RNG. You had to actually work to get the best shit in the game. And Mythic Plus was better than it's ever been. I could keep going on, but I'm not going to do that. But basically, a lot of Bellular's criticisms of Shadowlands, it's just like, they did not make any sense. It sounds like somebody who just played like the bare minimum, and considering that I know he also runs a few other channels and a game studio as well, it's just like he didn't really come off like as somebody who was genuinely interested to see what the expansion had to offer. He was just going in and it's like, this is going to be BFA 2.0 because the expansion got delayed by a month. And even throughout the patch cycles, he still had the same opinion that he had of BFA and still carried it over to the Shadowlands patches, which made the expansion better. Shocker, I know. And when the story didn't go in the way that he wanted to, it's like, oh my god, Blizzard made a shitty decision in the story. Oh, that's not good, doesn't make any sense, and stuff like that. I have seen some of his Dragonflight stuff, especially around like the very beginning of the expansion, and I know that he has a much more positive outlook on the game now, because I don't know, like a lot of the community seems to like the choices that Blizzard did for Dragonflight. I'm very critical of a lot of those choices, but that's going to be a whole other video for another day. I also noticed that most of the time it's just bashing on Shadowlands. And it's just like, how disingenuous is that? It's just, you have to bring up Shadowlands in every one of your Dragonflight videos. Probably not every one of his Dragonflight videos, but probably quite a bit. It's just like, this is a huge change from last expansion that I like because last expansion sucked. But yeah, I think that's a good segue to figure out, Scurvy, why don't you like this guy? In the past, I talked about legitimate fraudsters like Real Femme Sapien and horrible people like Cyrax, but the thing is, Bellular is not like any of them. The reason why he's on my shit list, it's mainly because his content is kind of deceptive, mainly in terms of the title and thumbnail. Like, I think one of his more recent videos had Queen Ajara in the thumbnail and some continent, I think. I'm not quite sure. But there's a lot of speculation that specific character is coming back to World of Warcraft, and yet Bellular over here is like, oh my goodness, guys, it's confirmed Queen Ajara is coming back to World of Warcraft. I was right because I went off some lore reading from the Naga tribe in the Forbidden Reach. That's basically the speculation that he's talking about. But he's making it sound like it's confirmed. So if that's not deception, then I don't know what is. I know I said this in the previous segment, but his comments and videos on Shadowlands are just objectively wrong, both in the gameplay and the lore. Every time I watched one of his Shadowlands videos, which wasn't that many of them, he would always go on about, oh my goodness, the grinds, what point are the grinds, when you were one of the people back in BFA saying that there should be more of a grind that you could actually earn towards, that's a guaranteed reward. if you couldn't tell, this was about the Shadowlands legendary system. And then in terms of the lore, people have just been very critical of the lore in Shadowlands as a whole, but you could watch my review on that if you want to know what actually happened in the story and not what people like Bellular tell you. But in terms of the lore, I remember him making a video about what 9.2 was gonna be, although, disclaimer, this was a speculation video. But basically, it had all the typical, like, r/wow circle jerk stuff. Like, we're gonna be going back to Azeroth, we're leaving the Shadowlands, just a bunch of nonsense. And then also for the system recommendations, it was just also a lot of stupid shit that just wouldn't actually fit into the game. To summarize this point, this bullshit peddler basically gave the community a false perception on what is otherwise a pretty good expansion. Like, he was the one to say, oh, the grinds, the grinds, the grinds, and the story doesn't make any sense. But when you actually look at his claims logically, they don't make any sense. It's like, he doesn't really know much about storytelling, I could kind of tell from his lore analyses. But this is an attitude that is very common throughout the WoW community as a whole. A bit of an aside on the WoW community, we love our speculation. This means that our way of thinking can be easily malleable and controlled depending on which way it's being pulled. Right now, people are being told the old gods might be coming back because the last boss has some hints of void power, and if you haven't seen the final boss room yet, it's very much full of shadow magic and void shit. But this means that this must be an old god expansion, as if we haven't already had a lot of those. I wouldn't really want another one, because people feel like N'Zoth wasn't given enough justice in Battle for Azeroth. That means he has to come back because all the hints tell us that he's gonna come back. That's the kind of illogical thinking that the community likes to engage in a lot. They prefer their headcanon to be true, and anything that deviates from it is a sin. It's sacrilege. And guess who imparted that little bit of mentality onto them? His name starts with a B, and it's the title of this fucking video. So yeah, Bellular, you kind of poisoned the rest of the community for me, and it's very much difficult to kind of talk to people about the lore without saying one of your talking points. They haven't come to their own goddamn conclusions. And speaking of conclusions, I'll say this again, but the reason why he's on my shit list is because he's a clickbaiter who lied about the entirety of Shadowlands and helped make the game go in a worse direction, if you ask me. You glad that Dragonflight turned out the way it did? 'Cause I'm sure not. Now, let's see who's gonna be next on the shit list. Oh man, that was quite the video. It's probably shorter than one of my usual episodes, but it was a goodie, I think. Now, let's see who is going to be on the shit list next. Oh my goodness, how awfully relevant! And it relates to my most popular video at the time. Well, see you guys then.